Good day to all. Welcome to Extreme Recap. He witnessed his beloved's agonizing struggle and the oblivious behavior of his number one in a car accident. Lastly, close to rice. This is the most painful thing in the entire world. I should have been with. In fact, I did it. Ian and Samantha were inseparable from the start. Additionally, for many years, it was a typical day. Samantha got up early to show him the new clothes she had bought for him. Her lovely body was hidden beneath the dress. Ian wondered de Noël. In his own gathering, Samantha grinned cleverly and gave him an embrace. He takes his discourse toward the beginning of today and moves Samantha far removed. Samantha gets burned while eating breakfast. As he removes ice, Ian gives her a cold compress. All of it is extremely common. Ian was still learning as they both left. Samantha informs him that the restaurant has a reservation for 7 p.m. while gently holding his umbrella. Samantha's eyes, however, widened. For 3 years, she had been working on her concert, but Ian had forgotten about it. Ian was liable and humiliated. He was so preoccupied with his work that he ignored Samantha's presentation as they parted and a bystander drank a Coke on her. As he returns to fix Samantha, Ian gives her a kiss and wishes him well. Ian discovers that his watch is when he arrives at work. He asks that his assistant postpone his request for dinner until 9 p.m. From that point onward, he goes out to shop for a red pullover. However, the partner says his darling presently is a red sweatshirt. I have to say that Ian's boyfriend sets a bad example. On the other hand, Samantha went home to change her clothes. When she saw that Ian's notes had been left at home, she ran out and grabbed them. At the point when she strolled into the lodging, she knew about how critical the notes were to Ian. Ian was in a get-together. Because the waiter wouldn't deliver the notes for her, she rushed into the conference room just as Samantha Barstein saw Ian take out the same notebook from his bag. It turned out to be a misunderstanding, and her arrogant behavior was to blame for the partner's negative attitude. The demeanor all over appeared to be not exactly right. His employment was certain to fail. In the pub, Ian drinks. Because the man across the street was playing pool, he broke his glass. He and Kiss remained in the concert hall after the performance. The driver can guess by his miserable articulation that he is in a terrible relationship. Ian truly revered Samantha. At this point he had no clue about how to treasure her when Ian says that Samantha accepts him ought to get back with her. The driver asked him, would you be okay with that if Samantha didn't show up? After a short time of quietness, Ian proclaimed that Samantha's flight was unsatisfactory. Thus, the driver dialed back and encouraged him to be daring, love Samantha, and be grateful for her. Saturday welcomed Ian down in front of an audience, where he purchased a bundle of roses and grinned as he watched Samantha play the piano. The two of them fight after the recital, which was a huge success. After dinner, Samantha wanted to take him back to her parents' house. Ian declined because he claimed to be working. Samantha was aware that she would always be behind him. They parted ways. Samantha left him in a taxi after that, and she got into an accident with her car. Samantha. In 8 days, Ian will eventually return. He looked over. Ian slept through the night with the diary in his arms, recalling where she had written and how they had met and fallen in love. The man awoke and touched the diary of his father's girlfriend, but she abruptly told him not to. At the point when Ian sees his late sweetheart sitting close to him, he pivots in shock. As she approached him slowly and gently, Ian felt at ease. For a brief moment, he mistook everything for a dream. However, Samantha immediately pushes him to the bed and changes into her new clothes to show him. By day, Ian was surprised. Vu. As Ian was changing, he saw someone making breakfast and saw him. He rushes over it to warn her not to get burned. Despite his nervousness, Samantha is burned regardless, which makes her smile. She decided to follow him the other way because she was burned by the curling iron while they were having an affair. Because Samantha still gives coincidences to co-frontman or passers-by, Ian wonders if everything that happened yesterday was just a dream. These things don't check out to Samantha. Ian's watt had been disrupted by the dream, but it was still there. He lowered his guard for a while, but he continued to periodically check the dream's veracity by looking out the door during the meeting. Be that as it may, Samantha didn't rush in this time. After the gathering was over, he went to the bar for a drink. He was watching a man playing with a young woman right next to him. Regardless, he saw the billiard ball fly this time toward the bar. After that, he asks for a taxi so that he can identify the driver as the one from yesterday. In shock, he traded planting trees with the driver. When he suddenly realizes the driver's size, he comes to a stop. He wants to know if the accident from the previous night will happen again, right then and there. They were back in the day yesterday, and this driver was aware of everything. Consequently, the accident that occurred last night was not a dream for him. He pressed the driver on how to save his faculties and get out of the car. Likewise, he should be grateful to his darling and love her. After he realizes his error and exits his vehicle, it takes months to locate him. At a friend's exhibition, he ran into Samantha. He grabs her and tells her that leaving London would be better than staying here. As a result, Samantha purchases the tickets. Since Samantha needed to see where he grew up and went to class, Ian was nearly there when he understood they were back in his old neighborhood. She wanted to visit where Ian turned into her adored. Samantha was taken to the mountain lodge by Ian. He enjoyed coming to visit as a child. While he drove, they were completely submerged in water, and it was pouring heavily. He kissed her as he entered the cabin and started a fire in the fireplace. When he suddenly notices his wrist, he slowly pulls down his sleeve. The watch was broken. Everything had taken place the day before. It just happened in a different order. He changed his head and burst into tears. If you only had one more day, what would she like to do? He asked his girlfriend. Amazed, she answered that she might want to go through her last day with him. He was astounded by how clear his better half's desire was. Ian and Samantha went to a bar. At the point when he was youthful, his dad used to come here each evening. His superhuman father was him. His father lost his job and began drinking when he was 15 years old, destroying his superhero image. However, he still adored his father. He didn't tell Samantha about it because he didn't want to get into a deep conversation. Ian thought that his father should know how much he loved him. Samantha believes that love never ends. Being there broke Samantha's heart. She didn't want to go back to the city to deal with his girlfriend's death, so she leaned over him and quietly wiped his tears. Despite the fact that she had been working on her graduation concert for 3 years, Samantha was unaware that it was on that particular evening. After quietly observing her, Ian had to come to an agreement before they left for home. They went to the diversion Mecca. They took turns on the Ferris wheel and took in the view of the city. Samantha was more joyful than any time in recent memory as she took a gander at him and I am thankful. The phone. By returning home and going to the concert hall, Samantha gets ready for the perfect day. Ian saw the printed music in her journal immediately. It was a song Samantha have created for their reverence. Subsequently, we held on to the printed music and informed him that it would be conveyed to his real office. The director of the group received 75 music sheets after they were brought downstairs. Ian mentioned that he play the piece after the show. He expected to stun a man again, close to the completion of the show. He then, similar to yesterday, bought a Blossom game plan. Saturday walked down the stage and smiled at Samantha as she turned the page of the score and finished playing. In disbelief, she looked at the familiar score. At that point, M appeared on stage and revealed the existence of a special program. He had pushed Samantha to the front of the audience. Because she was so nervous about taking this first step, Samantha had no idea what to say. Samantha made changes over time, and the students kept doing well, ascended one at a time. They had never practiced this song before. But at the end of the song, she did it so well. Ian grabbed Samantha and took care of everything. The day was horrible. Ian gave Samantha a bracelet at dinner. The bracelet was embellished with new and old items. Armband had notes, violets, blooms. There was even a frying pan present. His impulsive notion made Samantha laugh. In science, Ian just watched her. After they ate, it started to rain. Samantha pulled all through the deluge. Sadly, another person took the taxi in front of them. While taking in the familiar intersection, Ian confessed his love for Samantha. If I had been with Samantha, I would never have understood what love is. Thank you for teaching me how to love and be loved. Samantha had no idea what to say in a few seconds. She simply approached to enter and gave him a warm kiss. Finally, the cab arrived. Ian inquired as to whether he needed to compose with her when she came in first and grinned. Ian wore the cap. Without even batting an eye, he looked at the regular driver in the line. He then looked at Samantha and counted at that point. From that point forward, he gave Samantha one final kiss. After that, the clock skips to a lover. This time, his friend went to the hospital right away. Samantha was the only person who remained after Ian's death. Ian would cherish her for the rest of his life if he could do it over again. At the point when she recalled the amount he had adored her that day, Samantha couldn't quit crying. However, it was impossible to resist the ruse at this point. In fact, there is no way that another opportunity could not exist in this world. There are always people who show us love in a cruel way. Unfortunately, we oftentimes experience him before we grasp everything. When we miss love, we regret it for the rest of our lives. In the future, we can continue to reflect on those individuals and events. Turn on notifications, please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.